Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Unplugged Woodworkers podcast. So, what have I been up to? I've been extremely busy. I've been posting a lot. Obviously I finished up the bench builds, the videos are being released weekly. I've also finished up a movable vase. It's actually not too bad. It's a bit bulky, but it's not too bad. And today I was actually finishing up on the wedge one, because initially I was going to do a wedged vase. I decided against it, and obviously when I released pictures and videos of the threaded rod version, there was a number of people actually said, like, are you not doing like a wedge one sort of thing, you know? So because the threaded because the threaded rod one was a bit too bulky for me, I decided to go ahead and build the wedge one, which is not too far away from completion. So hopefully tomorrow I should have that done and dusted. And I'm going to talk about the two of the vases today. So what impressed me, to be honest, there's been quite a lot. I did save quite a lot, but I'm going to go with this one. I'll put it on the screen now. And this is from Dave Things, and this is the tool stool. So obviously there'll be a little video if you're watching on YouTube. This is pretty cool. Obviously it's a stool and you get to store tools underneath it. I don't know if it's something I would per se use. I'm not really big on stools in any way, shape or form. Like even just like sitting at a bar on a stool, I'm not keen on it. I'd rather have a backrest. That's probably something to do with me posture and me back being not very good. But there is quite a lot of older woodworkers that do actually use stools. Maybe for cutting dovetails, they'll actually get themselves all set up and get a stool and start cutting dovetails. Obviously it allows them to get right up close. I have seen a number of people do this. Personally for me it's not really a good match for me back, but I thought it was pretty cool, so I thought I'd share it. As I said, you know, some of you might find it useful. Just a reminder, in case anybody hasn't seen them yet, there is actually two videos that I did release, in case you've missed me Instagram feed or whatever. I did release the video for the sawhorse workbench, the introduction video, just me going through a few things what I can and can't do. I did also release the build video for the sawhorse itself, and next week's going to be the bench top, and then the week after is going to be the vase, and then possibly the week after I'm going to do a little update on it, because I have actually added stuff. I actually added a tool shelf, and this is about 4 inches underneath the bench top itself, so it's not sitting on the stretchers, although I did actually add a shelf that went on the stretchers. And obviously I've got the one that sits on top of the sawhorses as well, so that's like 3 storage areas. But I really like the tool tray. It's really good. I didn't think I'd like it as much, but I really like it. But I'm not going to go into that. I'll probably going to do a video updates about that. So the vases, I'm going to get the bads straight out of the way. So one of the first concerns when I was actually making the vase was that there wasn't going to be enough meat where the dog hole was, and it turned out I was actually correct. I'll go into that a little bit later. So that was one of the first concerns. So straight away I added another section of ply. So the ply that I've been using is 12 millimeters. So obviously I doubled that up, and I think if anyone is going to build these like type of vases, you're really going to have to buy some like decent ply, you know, some cheap and nasty Chinese stuff, or just cheap and nasty anything sort of ply. It's just not going to cut it. I think it's just going to rip itself straight out of the dog hole. That's probably not the right way to phrase it, but basically where the dog hole is and the peg is, either the peg's going to snap, which I very much doubt if you're using poor plywood. If you're using some decent plywood, there is a chance that could happen. But if you're using poor ply, I think it'll just pull the vase will just pull itself away. So as I said, if you're all gonna like kind of build it, I'd highly recommend you use like birch ply, something like that, some good quality ply. The second concern was that I couldn't get my hands on a decent size threaded rod, a decent thickness. Now, I was just informed today via Instagram, I forget the name of the guy, but he informs me that the threaded rod, as I'm referring to it, is actually known as an Acme, if I'm pronouncing that right. And actually that's like, you know, like a really like a thicker one. I think it's like above like 12 millimeters, so like above half an inch, which I was looking for. So what I actually put in was an M10, and I'm really not happy with it. I've stated it in a couple of posts. Really not happy with it. In all fairness, it is actually performing really well. But I think it's only going to be a matter of time before it threads itself. I knew this when I put it in, but I was so eager to actually get the thing done and dusted and, you know, try it out. You know, it's one of those, I think it's just one of those things, like sometimes when you get something in your head and you really want to get it done, you've just got to get it done. You need it to be out of your head and, like, you know, materialize sort of thing. And that was like the sort of thing that was going on. So I had to get the thing like done and dusted, or it would have drove us nuts. So obviously that was like a major concern for us. But as I said, you know, I have been using it bits and bobs, and in all fairness, it has been holding up. But there will be a time when it threads itself. It's one of those things. Another thing I don't like about it, at least the threaded rod one, it's big and it's bulky. I really don't like it. It's like, I can't even remember the measurements off the top of my head, but like it sticks out a lot, and I really don't like it, not at all. So if you can imagine, you've got the vase itself like coming out yay far from the bench at, I don't know, maybe 7-8 inches perhaps. Then you've got the threaded rod in the handle on the other side of that, so you've got to take that into consideration, and I really didn't like it. Just the other day I was doing a bit of edge planing, and how I've been doing it is kind of, I've been putting the vase closest to myself, and just letting the workpiece rest on a peg or a hole fast, whatever's there. And obviously the vase has been stopping it from moving forward, so when I'm planing, but it was so awkward. I was like kind of having to swerve around it. It was very awkward. I mean, I suppose I could have turned it around the other way, and it would have been better. But obviously, just where I had the bench situated, I had it situated on the decking, because we've had like a lot of snow. Like I think like England in general has had like a lot of snow. Like, you know, it's been quite heavy up in the northeast of England. So the gardens, you know, it's a mess at the moment. You can't put anything here on the grass. Basically, it's kind of a horrible, muddy, waterlogged mess at the moment. Let's get on to the good now, because there is some good. There is some good for this. So it's super simple to make. It's ridiculously easy, and I did set out for it to be easy. and you probably could make it quite quick as well. The reason it took me so long, I say so long, it wasn't really that long, but I could have done it a lot quicker. But I was kind of designing it, like, not designing it because I did have a rough idea in my head, but I was like tinkering with the design as I was building it, changing things, you know what, like kind of like staring at it and thinking for, you know, for minutes or you know, 5-10 minutes at a time, you know, just like kind of running over things in my head. But I think it could be done in a few hours, depending on your skill level. But the thing that I wanted to be able to do, or rather for anybody just about to be able to do, was to make it. That was the goal behind it, for it to be nice, simple, easy to make, and I think I kind of accomplished that. It's also very forgiving. Like there's like looking at it, you know, if you're kind of looking at it from a distance, you know, you can look at it and think, oh yeah, it looks this, that and the other, but once you get over the top of it, at least for me, I can say this is not square, that's not square, there's a bit of rough, you know, like rough sawn timber there, I haven't cleaned that up properly with the plane, and this, that and the other. There's quite a lot that I can like look at and like pick faults with it, but it's very forgiving and it operates really, really well for all the faults that are there, and for it not being square and this, that and the other. As I said, it's very forgiving and it operates how it should operate, which is quite surprising. Obviously, you know, I did rush it a little bit, you know, and I kind of wasn't too fussed about it, how it was gonna look, which is evident if you look at it. But the good thing about this is that a total beginner or someone who's like, you know, just been woodworking for maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of months, they could probably most likely build this. And again, that's the whole idea. I did have a couple of people criticise it a little bit. You know, somebody I think on Instagram said like no, and I was like, no, why? And they were like, the rod's too thin at the thread, and I was like, yeah, I've already stated that, and it takes too long for the basically to wind the thread, the threaded rod down. And I did agree with the guy, but if you've got some scrap supply wood there, you know, maybe you've just done a project or you're able to get some scrap supply, decent ply, you know, it's going to save you. I mean, what's the price of a decent vise these days? You know, like 150 quid. I mean, and them are just like okayish ones. It's you're not talking about the pattern maker ones. I think the pattern maker ones, I think they're about £300-400, and you've got is it HT Gordon? I think, I hope I've said his name right. But his little vise, it looks absolutely awesome. But I think that's like about £500-600. Don't get us wrong, if money wasn't an option, I probably just would have bought one of them and put it on the thing, you know. Who knows, in the future I might still do that. It depends how well I get on with these vices. As I said, I'm not greatly in love with the big one, the first one I made, the one with the threaded rod, but it does grip the workpiece quite well. I did do like a reel on Instagram. I'll put it up on the screen so you can see if you're watching on YouTube. When I first done it, I don't know why I decided to do it, but I thought to myself, I wouldn't have a contain my weight, and I was kind of like putting my hand on it and then like leaning my stomach on it, and you know, and put my weight on it. I was like, it's not moving that. So I got the camera, I put the camera on, and I just jumped on top of the bench and stood on the workpiece, and the workpiece didn't move at all. You know, so it can get quite a decent hold. I mean, if there was going to be issues of it sliding around too much, you could always just put some the thin rubber mats. What I use that rubber mat. I think it's intended for the likes of rugs and you know, front door mats, things like that, to stop them from sliding around. That's pretty much what I use. I've got rags of it lying all over the place, but that is pretty cool. So you could really, you know, if you were having issues, if you did build this and you were having issues, put some of that on the thickness side of the bench, and your workpiece isn't going to go anywhere. The main feature of the bench, which is like kind of the first thing that come into my head, was to make it movable. And I personally think I've succeeded very well at making it movable. Again, I did put a video up on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, so I'll put it up here if you are watching. Kind of just demonstrating, you know, its movability. So obviously the vise itself gets locked into position with one pin, and wherever there's a dog hole, within reason, there is a couple of dog holes it can't get to it. You know, if it's facing one way, you might need to turn it around to get it into that dog hole. But you know, you kind of got the right side of the bench, the end of like a tail vise position. You can have it there, obviously at the opposite end, and you know, numerous places along the length, which is really good. As I said, I think I've succeeded very well with that. It would actually be quite interesting to make like it from steel, you know, and actually, like, you know, do it correctly, from as I say, from steel, get a nice threaded rod in it. Obviously there'd have to be some work on the design, but if you are going to make it from steel, you know, the design could be streamlined, because obviously steel's stronger than wood, or at least some wood. So today I was finishing up on the wedge version. I still haven't got a little bit to do to it, but I think one of the driving forces, at least, was because the threaded rod version was just too big, too bulky, and I didn't like it, and I've deliberately made the wedge version a lot slimmer. So one of the things with us making it slimmer as well, I am actually restricted to what I can clamp in it. So most of my work or work pieces, the material I use is somewhere around like 20 millimeters. You know, it can range anywhere from like 18 millimeters to about 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. It's normally in between that range. So for me, I went for that, plus the thickness of my biggest wedge. Obviously, if you were going to make this, you know, you could just do it to suit you, but the point of is minimizing like what I can and can't grip. It was based off my workflow, like as I said, the material I use. So I didn't really see the need for us to, you know, to have the vise like year 4. However, you know, maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11 inches, whatever. I didn't feel the need to have it out there. There is occasion when I do actually need to, you know, like work on thicker material. You know, I don't know, maybe like 100 millimeters in thickness. But I don't tend to do that often. And obviously the idea behind the sawhorses themselves is that I've got plenty of clamping area. So even if I'm going to work on something like that, I don't know, let's just say I've got a big meaty tenon to cut, I can still clamp it and clamp it well. So the thing with the smaller vise, it's just going to be nice, quick, easy. It's not going to be in the way, hopefully. And hopefully it performs well with the wedge. So the thing about the wedge, again, common sense, it's going to be quicker than the threaded rod. So that's something I do like about it. I am a fan. Anyone that follows us knows I'm a fan of wedges, and I'm a fan of pegs and hold fast. That for me. That's all I kind of really need. So when I've been building the wedge version, I will admit that you have to be a little bit more precise with your cuts. Not a great deal, but you do have to be half decent with your cuts. So on the mouthpiece of the vise where your workpiece will fit in, and it actually will get clamped between the vise and the worktop. What I had to do there, I had to actually find where the centre was, and then make a little apex, if you will. So it's 6 degrees on either side, and this is to accommodate the angle of my wedges, because just about all my wedges are 6 degrees. That was kind of like the sweet spot for me. Just a nice angle to get like a nice grip, but you can still get it out, sort of thing. So the reason it's like that with the 6 degrees sloping down from the centre of the vise is so that I can actually turn it around. So if I'm using it on the left side of the bench, I might have the end of the vise pointing towards myself, but I might want to turn it around, and I might want to be obviously doing something on the other side of it, sort of thing. So I'm at the edge of the bench. So the thing with that is that I could have still wedged it up if I had just took the 6 degrees. It just would have meant I would have been tapping it up from the underside. But if you're sawing and you're pulling, you are still putting some sort of a downward force, like on the workpiece, and obviously the wedge is keeping it in place. So the more just say you might be rip cutting, you might be cutting a tenon or something, I think it would come loose. So that's kind of the idea. If the mouth is pointing to the right, it means I can go all the way down and wedge it. But also, if the mouth is pointing to the left, I can take it all the way down the bench, because I've got that apex in the middle. So it doesn't matter which way it's up. If the bottom's pointing up or vice versa, it doesn't matter, because I've got that. So that was a little bit tricky, just for the cut, because the material's quite thick. And I didn't get a good on one side I got a good cut, but the other side I didn't get a good cut. Something else I'd done as well was to instead of cutting the mouthpiece at 90 degrees, I actually offset it to was it 3 degrees? Yeah, it was 3 degrees. So I offset it to 3 degrees. So instead of cutting it at 90 degrees, I cut it at 87 degrees, which was too much. So the reason for that was, in all my wisdom, I was anticipating that when I was hitting the wedge would obviously push the mouthpiece away from the bench, and obviously under pressure it would pull itself to 90 degrees. That was kind of the idea behind it, and it does do that, just not 3 degrees. So tomorrow I've got to go back and I've got to try and I've got to try and readjust it, which is going to be a little bit awkward, because you can't really get a plane in there too well. You can and you can't. It's just like the surface that you're going to try and plane. It's like, it may be, I don't know what it is. It's like 1.5 inches or something. So it's going to be extremely awkward to do that. I think the best route is going to be to try and recut it, but when I recut it, there's not going to be a lot of material, so I think it might be a little bit problematic. I will get it done, but as I said, I think it's going to be a little bit problematic. So I'm not sure what I'm going to take it. So obviously 3 degrees is too much. I think 2 degrees might be too much. So I'm kind of toying with the idea of going maybe 1.5 degrees, maybe. It's one of those. If it's, I don't want to do it. I don't want to undercut it too much. But I don't want to have to do it again, because if I have to do it again, it is going to be really problematic to get it off, like to get the cut off the saw. Okay guys, I think I'm going to call it a day now. I think I've raveled it on enough. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's followed us on Instagram. So I think it was yesterday I hit like 7,000 followers. So that's amazing. That's like, I never thought like I'd get to 7,000. That's like, for me, that's a really big deal. So thank you very much for everyone that's followed us. And the same for my YouTube. Thank you so much for everyone that's took the time to watch the video and commented on the video. It really helps the channel out. So for everyone that's done that, thank you very much. And until the next time, I shall see and speak to you guys later.